Hello, everyone, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms, grandmas, pet moms, and those who just fill in mom shoes. Happy Mother's Day. I wanted to go ahead and get this Bible study out a little bit early. I know that many of you will be busy doing things with your families, and I was hoping that maybe you could set aside a little time prior to the busyness, like I'm doing now, to just kind of look at this Bible study and focus on some scriptures that we're going to talk about. A lot of times we don't really realize, even as Christians, sometimes the darkness can try to, almost like a cape coming over us, can try to put out our light. And we may not necessarily see this because we're so busy and we're just we're just getting through life. But then God sends these people who are lights for Him, and it's just amazing when you come out of that darkness, when you step out of that darkness. And even as a new believer, when new believers are stepping out of that darkness, that we as followers of Christ are leading them to Him. There's a light. There's just a light from God that we can feel, and it just brings so much change in our lives. So John 8:12 says, "Then Jesus spoke to them again, saying, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of life." John 3:19-21 says, "And this is the condemnation, that the light has come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light." And unfortunately, we're seeing that right now, and we just have to keep pressing on and being the light for others, an example as a follower of Christ. Ephesians 5:8-14, "For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of the light." And I had a situation where I wasn't being treated like a child of God. I didn't realize that, but I knew there was a darkness. I knew there was an issue. But then whenever I was around some people in that same situation, it was like this light, and I could feel how I was being treated so much differently, how I was looked at. And we have to look at people through God's eyes, not what this flesh thinks about others. And when I was talking to my husband about this, he said, these people treated you like you were a child of God. And that was just a light bulb for me, because that's absolutely true. And it makes a difference when we treat each other like we are children of God, not looking at each other through the flesh or judging each other through the flesh, but seeing people the way God sees can really make a difference in the lives of others. Many live in sin, unaware of their condition, until someone shines the light of Christ into their lives. They continue in darkness. They may not even know they're walking in darkness, but when you shine that light, that non-judgmental light, and you just love on them the way that God calls us to do, it's amazing what kind of change it can bring for a believer and for a non-believer. Jesus is the light that exposes darkness. In Him was life, and the life was the light of man. And the light shines in the darkness. So Jesus reveals truth and righteousness. Without Him, people are blind to the spiritual dangers, and there's so many out there. So we are called to shine His light. Matthew 5:14-16, "You are the light of the world. Let your light so shine before men, among whom you shine as lights in the world, holding fast the word of life." So as believers, we're reflectors of Christ's light. And from being on the other side of that, from feeling quite the opposite, when you step into that, and when you are associated with wonderful Christ followers who love on you, it makes a difference, and it is a reflection of Christ, because it's a reflection of how Christ wants us to treat others. When we live and speak in truth, we expose the darkness in love and lead others toward life. As we reflect on being a light in the darkness, we must also remember the urgency of our calling. Not only are we to shine the light of Christ, we are to be ready when he calls us home, whether through his return for our final breath. Therefore, be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. So we don't know when that's going to happen. Hopefully, it's something we're looking forward to, but we don't know when that's going to happen. So we got to be ready at all times. We don't know when Jesus will return or when our time will end, but we do know he has left us with the purpose to share his light with others. One of the most powerful ways to be ready is to actively be spreading his word, living in obedience, and walking in the Spirit. When we walk as children of the light, speak the truth, we are fulfilling our role as ambassadors, ready for his return, and helping others be ready too. So the thought questions that I have prepared for us today: what are some examples of darkness that people are walking in today without realizing it? When did God reveal an area of darkness in your life? How did it change you? And I just kind of shared, without giving too much information, but I just kind of shared with you a time that God revealed some darkness in my life. And so because there's darkness doesn't mean that you're not a follower. It doesn't mean that you're not a believer. It just means that maybe sometimes we're going through things, and we need those people who are reflecting Christ's love to just love on us and bring us through it, and show us, we can learn God's will, and as they are tools of his will, moving us forward to whatever plan he has. And then some people resist the light. Even when it's clearly shown, they're going to try to take another road, another path. So why do you think this is?